Maker of Kings with you right now here in the studios of AM 830 KHVH. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you and certainly hope that things are going your way. Welcome to this latest edition. If you're on Facebook Live, take a look, and you have all the fellas in studio with us right now. Aloha, everybody. There's Drew right there.
Yeah.
Brother Jim right here. Brother Corey right there. Brother Rich over there. And the team is in town. Good to see you, fellas. How's everybody doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Welcome back, boys.
That camera almost misses you now.
I know.
You can barely even see Rick.
Well, that's the objective.
I thought there were two chairs stacked on each other.
Thank you very little.
Shrinking man.
Thank you very little.
Thank you very little.
Rick will be with us for the next 6 months until he
I
disappears.
underappreciate that. It's so good to see everybody with us here. And Jim,
Yep.
welcome back in the studio.
Thank
Aloha
you.
to you.
Thank you.
I'd
Nice
like
to see you again.
like to do this if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
And I'll leave the fellas here on the side. Would you mind do a brief introduction of the fellas who are in studio with us?
To my right is my handsome son, Andrew Compion.
Yeah.
I knew that was
It's
gonna
radio. Just go for
Here
it.
we go.
Take a knee, Rich.
happen.
Take a
Young
knee.
entrepreneur, a superstar in the making. To my left, Corey Cazares, another young superstar, doing really well in his market segment, looking to reach out and to expand into an additional market segment. And then young Rich over there, the trials and tribulation of a young entrepreneur.
Falling in love each day.
Falling in love. The hopeless romantic is in the house, full of that great energy. Just an awesome individual as well.
And flowers for everyone.
And flowers for everyone, including your friends.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let me
He
just,
knows how to do it.
we'll just
right.
cuddle up with Rich.
If you're looking for a husband, there's your man, right?
If we're
there.
looking for a husband, he's the guy. He's the one.
He's the one. If you want a bad boyfriend, that's my son right here.
I feel dinner coming back here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I love it.
And we're starting our new show called Love Lessons with Booby and Scooby. These two guys.
Tune in.
Yeah.
We're going to determine exactly who's Booby and who's Scooby. And
Oh yeah. You'll figure it out.
we'll be in good shape. So I want to turn it over to the boys now, each of you. I'd like for you to give an introduction to Jim through your eyes. Drew, I'm going to start with you, please.
He's my father, mentor, best friend. He's taken me from a little boy into a grown man, and we're having fun along the process together.
Excellent. Corey Cazares.
Yeah, buddy. How do you describe Jim? When you bump into him, you'll know. But he's one of those mentors you don't even know you're looking for until you find him. One of those people in your life. Not always a business person, could be a family member, could be anybody. But when you bump into people like that, you know who they are, you respect it, and you follow along.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mentor, I like people in the name for us as Rainmaker, because he's the one that sets the direction. But he brought me into the family, so that's a huge thing. As much as we talk about work and all those entrepreneurial things, the back end stuff, and the family
Phenomenal.
Of course.
Tremendous.
And now you know firsthand, Rick. I heard
know
somebody was
firsthand.
busy on Sunday.
Oh, it was a highlight, superseding most highlights. To be able to get to know and be able to meet beautiful wife and others in the family was just tremendous, remarkable. Thank you for that.
We'd love to have you.
Thank you for that very much. I just didn't have a chance to pick up my room yet. Maybe next time I can actually find my suite.
There's plenty of room there. Just 4
Yeah.
bathrooms, let it go.
There we go. That's it. Maker of Kings. What is it, Jim?
Maker Kings is basically documenting the journey of these young entrepreneurs through the trials and tribulations of starting and running small companies and growing from small businesses into large businesses and teaching the tricks of the trade along the way.
One of the things, and Jim mentioned before we came on, I'd like to start there if you don't mind. That is, for those who are dialed in right now, they might be at their home, they might be at their office, they might be in the car, whatever it might be. As they're driving and they're listening to us, what is our role in their lives with their spending their valuable time listening to MOK? What is it that we can provide to them that is going to be life-changing, inspiring, productive, and positive in their lives? The first thing that came to my mind is that our friends who are dialed in right now, I need for you to take a little bit of a shift instead of being a passive listener to become more active. Contemplate, think about what your life is right now, and importantly, where do you want it to be? And if you're not achieving what it is ideally you desire, We're here to try and help in any way. One thing that would be helpful, call us, write to us, connect with us so we can address specifically. But with that overall premise, how can we affect people that are dialed in right now? And I'll open it up to our gentleman.
Well, I think from my perspective, we want to provide information, confirmation, and social proof, right? Information that this is what we do. This is confirmation. This is what we've done. And social proof is this is the desired outcome. So it starts with beginning with the end in mind, writing the end of the movie, determining the desired outcome. You can phrase that any which way. But the idea is to have a clear, focused objective, and then how to accomplish that objective by either creating an action plan or a critical path to success, and then executing that critical path. That's the desired outcome. So overall, if we can provide information, confirmation, social proof, we identify the problems, the trials, tribulations of small businesses. We know how to overcome those, and we are the solution to that problem.
I think information, if you don't mind jumping in, is exactly handy Andy. In
Sure.
the conversations and what I've learned and what I've witnessed, this is such a remarkable role model for what you've just mentioned because it includes everything
Sure.
that you stated. Would it be appropriate right now? Can we talk about handy Andy
Oh,
specifically
absolutely.
for a moment? The inception of this company began when?
It began 2017. We were trying to determine the best, most effective use of the talent and resources that are coming out of the military. And we had to find a solution to the problem of veteran employment. And so with that being the model, we said, okay, well, what could we do to affect change at the greatest level? How could we employ the most amount of veterans in the least amount of time with the greatest amount of reach? Something that we can replicate, duplicate, something that we can export around the world. We understand that the NATO countries that supported us in all of our conflicts, they're having the exact same problem. They're having the exact same situation. So we said we have to build a model that's scalable globally. We have to build a model that the ordinary person could get an extraordinary outcome, and that would be because of the systems and processes that we put in place. We have to find the key players. We have to develop our objectives to be with laser focus so that every person knows exactly what they're expected to do. We had to develop top line objectives where the organizational goal was in line with the division goal, which was in line with the service goal, which is in line with the operator goal. And so everyone's goals were in alignment. And then we built that entire profile on 4 principles, which was trust at the personal level. Trust in our business means predictability behavior. Trustworthiness at the interpersonal level. What is their character and their competence? And then at the managerial level is empowerment, the tools, the training, the resources, and support to be successful. And then at the organizational goal, we are all in alignment top to bottom. And so that's the premise for the Handy Andy model. And that's what we're now being recognized for our success.
The interesting part, and gentlemen, jump in a moment, is that at the outset, there was nothing that talked about profitability. It wasn't about revenue. It wasn't about any of what many folks listening now define as the motivation and or definition of their success. Who would like to jump in? Drew, maybe, or Rich?
Great question, or a great conversation we actually had downstairs, which was wealth or being rich.
Yeah, wealth versus rich. Yeah, so if your goal is to be rich, it's effort-based, and you're going to have to work really hard. If your goal is to be wealthy, it's knowledge-based, and you're going to have to learn. So if your goal is just to make as much money as you can, as fast as you can, you must understand that money has no home. So if you make a lot of money, you adjust your lifestyle, you spend a lot of money, and you need more money. When you understand wealth is something they can't take away from you. They can take all your wealth, they can put you in prison, 5 years later you get out, you still have the knowledge to go and create the models and to make the money. So wealth is something that's transferable and rich isn't. Like I can give you money, and if you make bad decisions, you lose the money. If I impart knowledge to you and you apply that knowledge, you'll be wealthy forever. So I'm more in tune to developing wealth strategies than get rich quick schemes.
Well, one of our
Excellent.
family sayings is impact over income or legacy over currency, right? And so one of the things we're trying to convey with our message is conscious capitalism. So how do you do that if greed is your motive? You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It takes away from the be good, do good, don't cause harm to yourself, others, or the environment. So
Right. But it's interesting. I've never considered that before, and I don't think many people other people have as well. Definition between wealth and rich.
Yeah.
And what it speaks to me is that there is more of a priority for your individual integrity, for your character, for your building of a legacy, and having in other words, and Tony has mentioned this before, you have 2 dates: you're born, dash, and your date of death. What's the dash? what are you doing that defines
Impact.
that dash?
Impact. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only here for a finite amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've filled up your coffers, then what? Right. And what I found is that when you're successful on your own, you feel good about yourself for a small amount of time, but overall you lack fulfillment, and success should bring fulfillment. And typically a lot of wealthy individuals don't have fulfillment because they're thirsty for that next deal. Right. When you're in this situation, it's unique in the fact that you get an opportunity to share that and to coach rather than teach. So we teach during practice, we coach during the game. And so when we sit down in our meeting, we have a specific agenda, we go through our process, we get all the teaching done, we go over those. Then when they're in the game, like a good example with Rich, he talks about, when I send him the text, what's on your agenda today, boys, right? He knows that's a loaded question, right? He already knows I know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
And now it's just whether you're going to be truthful and honest, right? Whether you have a full day or you have some gaps in your schedule, or what are you really focused on? And it's just like taking your temperature, right? It's just like taking a blood test. That's a finite amount of snapshot of time, right here, right now. This is what's going on. And so when you coach, you're basically coaching attitudes. You're coaching the way that he's treating people. You're coaching the way that he's reaching out and how he's being perceived by his people. When you're training, you're literally focusing on the X's and O's. This is exactly what you need to do. This is why you need to do it. This is the desired outcome. How are you going to accomplish that objective? And that teaching style keeps the objective at the forefront. And so we don't focus so much on the individuals. We focus on what's the desired outcome. Then we go back to get buy-in, right? So when you go down the chain for buy-in, you ask your individuals who are going to be performing the task, this is what I'm trying to accomplish. This is my goal. How are you guys going to help me accomplish my goal? And this is the position that I have for you. I have this priority. I have this revenue target. How are you going to accomplish this objective? And then I let them tell me. And then they come back and they go, here's my best plan. And I said, that's wonderful. And now I need a contingency plan and an emergency plan. So don't just give me one plan. Give me 3 options. Give me 3 alternatives, 3 solutions. Let's choose the best one. Let's agree together, and then let's execute that plan. Let's measure it. Once we measure it, we can improve it. Once we improve it, we can move forward and we can replicate and duplicate that process.
It's just almost counterintuitive to what the traditional business person would say. You're my employee. You need to achieve this. You need to accomplish this. And when you do that, I'll pay you this amount of money. And
but there's a problem with that, right? That's positional leadership. That's the boss mentality, right? So when you have the boss mentality and you use authoritative leadership or positional leadership, as soon as you turn your back, as soon as you're not looking, that person takes a break. That person says, I don't care what you have to say. They give you the middle finger. They then go to their friends and go, he's just telling me, blah, blah. They do that whole thing, right? When you flip it around and it's on them, they're their own boss. They're accountable to themselves. And then what happens is guilt and disappointment actually work in your favor, right? Because they feel guilty if they're not doing what they should be doing because they gave you their word. And then you go back and we talk about the principles of trust, right? Can I predict your behavior? Who are you when I'm not looking, right? So when you have that conversation with them, you say, okay, we set out this target. You agreed to do your part. I agreed to do my part. I've done my part. You haven't done your part. Why not? Then it's on you.
Right.
And that's effort-based. And we talked about effort-related, right? So once the plan's in effect, then it becomes effort-based.
We are going to take a very short break. When we come back, I'd like to bring in the fellas because of what Jim has just outlined for us, completely applicable, not only under the Handy Andy banner, but also in your individual businesses, Corey and Rich, before becoming part of this family. And we'd like to hear what the perspective is from there to now. And we'll have a whole lot more coming up. It is Maker of Kings right now here on News Radio 830 KHVH, and we'll be back in just a moment.
There's a girl in El Salvador who dreams of becoming an engineer. There's an elder in Uganda who dreams of having a community to call his own. No 2 dreams are the same. Help one person achieve theirs at unbound.org. That's unbound.org.
It's Big Wave Dave, and let's face it, no one ever taught us how to save and invest. It's not something they teach in school. But I have a fix. Attend a free 3-hour class at Online Trading Academy. They'll show you how you can generate income by investing. Could be for your kid's school, your retirement, or just a little extra for the day-to-day. Call 844-566-TRADE, 844-566-TRADE, or sign up at otaclass.com. And listen to Power Trading Radio, Saturday afternoon at 4, here on News Radio 830 KHVH.
Aloha! I'm Samuel Wilder King II. I'm running for the office of Hawaiian Affairs Oahu trustee seat because it's Time to fix OHA. I wish I could speak to each of you face to face, but this will have to. Find out more at votesamking.com. OHA matters. It matters to everyone in Hawaii, native and non-native alike. And everyone should vote in the OHA election, because we have to weed out the corruption and financial mismanagement that plagues OHA. We have to stop the cronyism and favoritism. We have to return OHA to its true mission, a passionate commitment to helping Native Hawaiians get better housing, education, and opportunity. It's time to fix OHA, and I hope you'll help me do it. I'm Sam King, and together we can fix OHA for all Hawaii. Visit votesamking.com to find out more. Mahalo.
Paid for by Friends of Sam King. P.O. Box 31512, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96837.
Hi, folks. Rick Amati here. Be sure to join Richard Critchlow and myself every Wednesday at 8:30 for Real Estate Q&A. Find out how Help You Sell can make sure you don't lose the value that you've worked so hard to build. Only on KHVH AM 830.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone, adults, teens, millennials. But it's not like these groups all hang out at the same place, right? Actually, well, they're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? You want to get to iHeartMedia.com and get AM/FM working for you.
Attention to this important announcement. If you have ever taken prescriptions like Adderall and are concerned about the side effects and high cost, now there's a new all-natural smart pill available that's the closest thing to a safe, real-life, limitless pill. It's so powerful and effective that students, athletes, and execs all want to get their hands on it. It's called Limitless, a Coastline product, and it's truly remarkable. It can help skyrocket your concentration, improve your creative thinking, enhance your memory, and make you feel like a better version of yourself. Call and find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless and experience this firsthand. It's not a question of whether this powerful pill works, but how great it can make you feel. Take it and watch it go to work. Limitless may be the best kept secret available today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-681-9041. That's 800-681-9041. Free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-681-9041, 800-681-9041.
The Rick Hamada Program on News Radio 830 KHVH.
Maker of Kings, that's who we are, and we appreciate you taking the time to be with us here on the program. Listen, I want to turn it over to the fellas in the conversation that is continuing with perspective and also with what Jim had shared with us during our opening segment, kind of personalize it and apply it to where we are now. And Rich, go right ahead.
I'd like to touch base on one of the things we were talking about earlier about wealth. And I think a lot of people have this inclination, like we were talking about being rich versus being wealthy. Jim creates a wealth for us that's going to carry on beyond money. So what we're doing right now, we can use in any platform. It can never be taken away from us. So the skill sets that we're learning and we're implementing, once we have those tangible skill sets, like they're not going to be taken from us at any point in life. And that's where the true value and the true worth of wealth comes, in my feeling.
I agree with the same thing, and I'll reflect to the same what he's alluding to with a quote I read this week saying, "I wish all people could become rich so they could realize that it's not what everybody thinks it is." And it was actually Jim Carrey who said that, of all people. But just showing that the rich, becoming rich isn't the goal of it. Isn't what people think it is when you get there, basically. And the difference between being rich and being wealthy is being able to impart wealth on others. And I think that's the case with Jim. Is you can't bump up against this crew or this group of guys or Jim himself and not walk away wealthier than when you came in. You might not be, you're not leaving, completely set for life, but there's no way you're leaving in a lesser spot than when you came. And that's for sure. And I think that's true for me. That would be my definition of wealth, is every engagement I have, somebody leaves in a better place than when they came.
Yeah, wealth can never be actually taken away. One thing that's unique about my perspective with my father is that I've seen him involved in so many different entities, and he's successful at every single one. Meaning, like, say one were to fail, which it doesn't, but let's just use it as an example. He could start over tomorrow in a brand new field and get the same outcome because he has a wealth of knowledge. It can never be taken away. There's nothing you could do. He could start from scratch, different country, different whatever circumstances. Give him the rules, and he's going to be successful because he has a fundamental understanding of what it takes to be successful.
I think people that are rich too are very nervous because they don't know how to create the next dollar. So they're sitting on the top, they're spending money, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, but when's the next paycheck coming in? When is the next time I'm gonna have that opportunity? And we look at it as, well, if you have wealth, we just got to find a way to go make more money. You know, that's our skill set, and it's I mean, it's the first time I've heard it from Andrew.
You can this guy could be in a situation that would make most people just freak out, commit suicide because it's so stressful. But he's just like, oh, it'll play out, it'll be fine, because he trusts in himself and he trusts the process, and that's wealth.
And that trust is fortified because of the successes, and that brings us back to Handy Andy again.
Yeah.
Because we're going to continue on that vein because it personifies the topicality that we have today. And if you don't mind, we'll do that after the bottom of the hour break.
100%.
Drew, how do we keep in touch with everybody? About 5 seconds to give us that information.
MegaKings.com or 808-202-2922.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good.
Don't tell him 5. He only needs 2.
Well, that was process. That was process. We'll be back. MOK. Maker of Kings, for those on Facebook Live, we appreciate you tuning in and taking a look. And don't be too terrified because of the crew that's in studio with us. And there they are right there, everybody. Facebook Live, aloha to you. Aloha, aloha. Listen, our conversation, fantastic today and compelling. And that's what I said this morning on Facebook before I even came into the office. Compelling radio. That's what we're doing today and every Wednesday. The context of Handy Andy, we began with that as the personification of what we're discussing. We started with the inception in 2017. It's been roughly 18 months.
Correct.
Walk us through a little bit of the beginning and where we are now.
You want me to do that?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Really?
so we had a vision.
Yep.
We had a plan, and then we needed a team to execute the plan. Who's in studio is the people executing the plan. It's that simple, right? So we started with one guy with one problem. We actually had a disadvantaged individual, somebody who was getting kicked out of the military, who just had got his first DUI at a young age, 24 years old, wife and a kid, and was a best friend with my son, and said, what am I going to do, Pops? I'm literally getting booted out of the military, and I have no other way, shape to take care of my family. And I said, well, you're in luck, because we've been talking about people like you, and so you'll be our first person. So our first move was to get a blow machine installed in our new van so we could have him drive, because he couldn't drive without this specific.
He had to have it.
He had to have the machine. And so when people contact us and go, what do you do with difficult people? I'm like, we started with difficult people. We built the model around difficult people.
This is a blow start company.
The prototype
It's a blow start company.
The prototype is difficult people. Yeah. That's the model.
Yeah, if we can't win with the lowest common denominator, then we just cannot win. Because if you try to win with the highest denominator, then you'll never find those people, right? If you're looking for that perfect person, they don't exist.
So those of you that are trying to construct and write resumes,
wasting your time. We're about the prototype. We're not about the plan. So it's a working prototype. We build the prototype model to be able to scale, to expand and contract, replicate, duplicate. And that was the model that we created. And we came into this market. It was saturated. There's 528 other people participating in this market space, very saturated. So we felt that if we took a difficult marketplace, Hawaii, a saturated marketplace, 529 competitors to start, and we could become number one in 17 months, then we could replicate and duplicate that model across the country. We've since been voted best handyman in Honolulu by, who is that magazine? Honolulu Magazine, right? Honolulu and Honolulu Family. Thank you. The Pacific Business News had voted us as one of the fastest growing companies in the state.
We'll find out tomorrow where we rank.
Find out tomorrow where we rank.
Right.
And we were voted as the top 25 construction companies in the state as well.
And then we also just recently got Best of the Best 2018 for Handyman.
Oh, Best of the Best 2018.
Correct.
There you go.
Yeah.
is that that's from the morning paper, right?
Yep.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there you go.
That one just came in the other day.
So hopefully we'll see where we
Goodness.
rank for the veteran-owned companies as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're competing in the marketplace and we're dominating.
Dominating is
Yeah.
the word. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. And that's why I'm glad that we're sharing the details of Handy Andy, because as of today, you mentioned one,
Mhm.
number of employees, Can you share revenue information? Is that appropriate to do on the air, or to put in perspective?
Do you want to show off?
I'll leave it up to you.
Here's the social proof.
Because, and here's the reason why, because we started the program with saying, folks who are dialed in right now,
Yeah.
how can we make an impact with them? Folks who are dialed in right now, I want you to understand that everything that is being discussed, talked about, shared, mentorship, and all of this is a real thing. This
Sure.
isn't just conversation.
Yeah.
This is manifested, and that's the important part. So where are we today?
I got the numbers on lockdown right now. So 3.3 million year to date. And
Year to date.
Yes. And our projected for year end will be an additional 5 million. So we should be coming in right around $8 million for gross revenue for the year.
And I haven't even paid my invoices yet. So I mean, you might,
And we're still carrying Corey.
Well, next year we will be a $25 million
Yes.
year company.
There's where we're at right now. We're hitting a point where we're optimization right now. So we've been growing, then we plateau, and I wouldn't even call it a plateau. It's a stabilization, and then we'll grow again because the 5-person company, the 10-person, to the 25, to the 50. We're at the 50-person model, 55 right now. It's real about systems and processes. Once we refine that, it's just going to be, how much new work's going to be coming in the door. We're launching a couple different companies that are all feeding together.
Right. Well, and we're fine tuning the optimization. And once we really, start breaking ground there, it's gonna go tenfold.
You asked a question at the beginning of the show too, Rick. You said, what can we expect our listeners? What can we have them expect from us from listening to the show? And the conversation that Rich and Drew just had, I hope will shine light on the biggest aspect for me, which would just be personal reflection. If I were to be listening to this and I didn't know this group of guys right here, I'd be reflecting on my own business and to think about the presence, the knowledge of your present situation you'd have to be able to say, we're at a place that's not a plateau, but we're waiting for a bit to refine our systems and processes to make sure that our systems that can handle 25 people can handle 50 before we grow to 75, and we do ourselves an injustice and create a problem for ourselves. The amount of, you have to be aware of your present situation, so attuned to what's going on in your business to be able to even make that sentence work. And I hope that challenges our listeners to ask themselves, how do I feel about my business? Because that's what I do each time I'm around these guys. I reflect it into my own industry. We're all in drastically different industries, and we're all in different roles in those industries. And it crosses the board. It's business as a religion, like Jim always says. So my goal for the people who are listening to the show would be able to use this as a place of reflection for themselves in their own business. How attuned are you in your own business? Could you formulate something where everybody wants to grow so quickly? Can you postulate something like that? I need to stop, make sure my processes can facilitate 55 before we go to 75. Or is it all just running forward, head down, running forward?
It has to be prescriptive.
Yeah.
It has to be prescribed growth. There has to be a growth spurt. We call it a sprint. We go through a series of sprints. And it turns into a 26-mile marathon, but it's literally 26 1-mile sprints. So we sprint, we stabilize, we then optimize, we sprint, we stabilize, we optimize, we sprint, we stabilize, we optimize, and we continue that path. And the reason is because they have their skill sets. It's kind of like when you start school when you were a kid, your mom bought you the shoes that were 1.5 size too big, so you grew into them. Same thing in business, right? We put them in over their skis. They're uncomfortable. They wobble around. Their feet don't fit right. A year into it, the feet fit. They start feeling better. And the same thing with the growth of individuals, right? You cannot force the growth because people can't accept it. You can force feed them. You can drown them trying to make them drink. But the reality is it's spoon feeding them a little bit at a time. Then you reinforce that behavior. Then you spoon feed them a little more, reinforce that behavior. They go through the trials and tribulations. And so they're developing their own model as they go along. And they're becoming the individual that they need to become in order to be who they're supposed to be. So it's part of raising people. We say we grow people, other people grow corn, we grow humans.
Yeah. So how in sync me and Rich are will determine the growth of how everything is. My ability to get work and his ability to serve work need to be commingled, so that way we can grow at the right rate.
And I can tell Drew forecasting out, hey, Drew, now we've optimized, we're being productive. Now, hey, you got to turn the switch back on. Or, hey, Drew, that switch needs to get shut off.
We need to optimize now.
Work.
But we literally brought in a tremendous amount of work, and we did the math. We brought in almost $750,000 in work in
opportunity
in 1 month, and captured about 200,000 to 300,000 of it. So
in 1 month,
1 month, yeah. And we have a marketing program, we have a call center, and we do it the right way. And so I guess two things. One, If you want to see somebody doing it right, you follow Handy Andy Hawaii, right? If you want that done in your company, contact Maker of Kings, and we can help your company accomplish those same outcomes.
Right. I had a conversation. I know we have a break coming up, but when Andrew and I had a conversation with, and I won't name the name, but but in our discussion with someone in our community, she took a few moments away from the core of our discussion to talk specifically about her experience personally with Handy Andy. And it was an emotional expression. She was so enamored with the attentiveness, the quality of the work, the dedication, the completion, all of that. And it became the center point of what we talked about most of that meeting.
Sure.
That's the type of thing that people can understand, grasp, and really connect with, because it's going to touch you, right? And that's what you fellas have really dedicated, to make sure that you have all of those components in place. Because when that customer writes that check or runs that credit card, they're going to walk away going, damn, that was great.
Well, it's a different
That was great,
perspective.
right?
And the reason is our guys are problem solvers. So they're trained that your job is to fix the problem of the person you're going to see. It's not to go and fix their slow drain or put a doorknob on or door or any of the handyman stuff that they do. It's that you're there to solve their problem, whatever that problem is. And if you can't solve that problem, then you have additional resources that can come in and solve that problem. But when you're in the problem solving business and everybody has problems, you're going to have plenty of work.
What I also love, and we can come back, is that we're talking about Handy Andy specifically today.
Sure.
However, the atmosphere that surrounds Handy Andy is amazing. The diversity and all of the complementary additional businesses, et cetera, that have this core mission at heart. So if we can chat about that a little bit when we come back. Anything else that's top of mind? Because with MOK, it flies by so fast. You're on Maker of Kings, and we're glad you're with us, and we'll be back in just a moment. Maker of Kings, we're with you, you're with us, and we're delighted that you are indeed, with Jim and Andrew and Corey and Rich, and we're already on the brink of yet again another hour Facebook Live, folks. Aloha to you, and thank you for tuning in and joining in with us. We talked a little bit about Handy Andy today, and I'm glad that we had a chance to focus. Just a sidebar, the intent is not necessarily to directly recruit. However, when you were talking about, Rich, the expansion, got to have people.
Got to have people.
Got to have people. And the focus is on our veterans who are transitioning. What message would you like to deliver to veterans who might be on the brink, who would like to stay here in Hawaii, or would like to be mentored, instructed, and can learn to take those skills back to their home base?
The biggest thing is just reach out to us. I mean, we're here to provide as much information. We hope that we're the right fit for you. If not, we'll always help you. I know Andrew has a wealth of knowledge in terms of guys coming out of the military. Most of the guys that do come out speak with him, and he can give them great direction. And whether it's you're leaving and you're feeling uncomfortable and you got to go back home to Chicago, New York, or you're staying in Hawaii, and hopefully, we're developing a system that is meant for them. And just let us share the opportunity that we have offered with Handy Andy Hawaii and a couple of other branches of work.
Okay. Information. What should folks do?
So they could also reach out to us on our recruitment page at the handyandyhawaii.com website.
So
And
just
there's
click right
information on
into
there.
the-
You could submit resumes or contact us directly from the website.
Awesome. It looks like we need some assistance. What a
Yeah, I mean,
phenomenal plan.
I'm looking for guys that are not just interested in making a living, but want to make a difference and see
Yeah.
themselves as part of the solution. If you're a go-getter, if you're a get stuff done type of guy, then you need to give us a call.
Yeah.
Not don't hesitate. Don't work for a third, fourth, fifth place. If you want to work for the best and you want to see how the best do it, you come work for us.
And Rich and Drew talked about it last week too, when they're sitting down looking at resumes, and guys get all excited to hand over their resumes, and they're looking more so for the values. That's what they were talking about last week, looking for the values in a person as opposed to what's on the paper. Just being able to hold a conversation, show up on time, lock eyes, be confident, be able to show your commitment through your language and your body language. It struck me as I was listening to the show last week, being away, just hearing them talk about values as opposed to, obviously experience is a big part of it, but looking for values comes from our military background. Knowing and recognizing the importance of those values is huge.
And that is a big part.
I agree.
That is a huge part.
Good job, Corey.
I mentioned before about ancillary and Handy Andy. If we take Handy Andy here, can you explain and share of what you've created to support directly Handy Andy, but also how you can branch out into many different areas.
You want me to do that?
Please do.
All right. So, part of what we do is to vertically integrate and to find additional companies that will all work in conjunction, in sync with what we're trying to accomplish. And so the first was the educational component, which is the National Academy of Construction Trades. And so that is our trade school that we created for the transition of young veterans coming out of the service into the program. They go through a school program in the morning, they work in the afternoon, they get to gain their experience. As they graduate the program, they either become an employee or a partner, or as we branch out into the mainland, they then are first priority to get one of the franchises as we franchise the model across the country. So that's the National Academy of Construction Trades. One of our main situations that we deal with, we service a lot of warranty programs. The home service warranty programs are very big here. A lot of homes are sold, they give them a warranty program. Handy Andy Hawaii services those home warranty. We found that in servicing those home warranty programs, there was huge gaps and holes in the service that they were providing, and that the customers were very unhappy. So we started an additional company called Armor Home Warranty, which Corey represents. And that is a veteran platform. If you want to help veterans get employed, you purchase a home warranty. When you need that home warranty, the people who provide that service are the gentlemen of Handy Andy Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So Armor Home Warranty is our home warranty program. It's a great lead generator, but also it fills a huge void in the marketplace where we actually do what we say we're going to do. So it's not a bait and switch type program, which is currently out in the marketplace.
Can I interject there real quick?
Sure.
I love that. So one of the things that we determined was that for every 200 warranties we sell, it's enough service work to hire a new vet.
And that's something, yeah.
Repeat that one more time.
So for every 200 warranties that we sell, there's enough service work associated with it where we can hire a new veteran.
And that's the thing. We talk about when we go to these companies that we go speak to about Armor, and when we go to these functions where we're asked to go speak on behalf of Armor, people are engaged with that. They want to know. And it's really, for me, it's a doorway into the new way people are doing business. I think people have gotten this, they've bought into the pejorative that somebody has to lose for somebody else to win. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I feel confident that's not the case, but I think that Armor is able to show that people engage with that fact that if we sell 200 warranties, we can hire a veteran. They feel a part of that. Before meeting this group of people, I wouldn't have thought that would have been a factor that would have actually gone down and been quantified. And it definitely is. I'm seeing the community reflect the appreciation of that. And so it's awesome to be able to quantify such a detail like that means something to people.
I don't think I've ever heard any social implication connected with a transaction.
They don't.
And it's becoming more important. I mean, especially with the millennials, the way that they buy things, a lot of them are asking a why. There's a why behind a lot of people. Simon Sinek was one of the biggest proponents of asking why. What's your why? And I think people have used that, and that's translated into consumerism these days.
Ask my children, what's the most powerful word?
Why?
They'll tell you why, and that's it. I didn't mean to, and I know that that's great information. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no
because it's rare that you'll ever hear that. We have just a few moments remaining, and I don't want to shortchange the importance of our conversation, but we started our discussion today of what's the impact on people who are dialed in and what have they learned, what can they walk away with today. And I'd like to share, if you wouldn't mind, each of you, what was shared today that you believe was the most impactful part, that if people are dialed in, what will they walk away with today? Rich?
I think reevaluating your goal setting. What are you striving to achieve? Is it money, or is it wealth and knowledge and purpose in life? Would be a huge thing for me.
Gotcha. Corey?
Reflection. Take the advice and the things that you hear that resonate with yourself, use them to reflect on your own business and how it can help and help you grow your own business.
True.
The difference between being rich and...
That was very profound today. Mr. Keener, how about you today?
I think impact over income, right? Are you making a difference, or are you making a living? And if you're doing both, then you're on the right track. And I think that's what our goal is to make an impact over income. But we need to pay our bills, but overall we need to make an impact.
I would like to remind everybody dialed in right now, and if you're on Facebook Live, aloha to you, to join us every Wednesday during this hour. It is time that we're asking you to invest, but I guarantee that you're going to have a return that will supersede all. So for all of our gentlemen in studio, Drew Raven, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you so much. Jim, as always.
Thank you again, and thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Shoots baloots.
Oh my goodness.
Belut for our Filipino
That's for you.
listeners.
That's it.
There we go. Rich?
Thank you, Rick.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
brother.
us. Appreciate it.
Man, Maker of Kings, love this hour, love this program, and hope you'll be with us next time. Thanks to Jess, thanks to you, and aloha.
KHVH Honolulu.